episode of our spring semester. We're happy to be back, and we can't wait for you to see what we have in store. I'm your host, Ben Greenberger, and I don't know how to iron my pants. We know Valentine's Day is come and gone, but we still all have love on our mind. From on-campus relationships to spending cuffing season alone, it seems there's always a way to talk about relationships. But before we get into all that, let's catch up with some of the news we've missed over break. Former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz has announced his plans to run for president in 2020, and he's already said he doesn't see color, thinks billionaire is an offensive term, preferring person of wealth instead. I mean, I gotta say, besides announcing early, he's already ahead in the game of being an idiot. Senator Bernie Sanders also officially announced that he's running for president this week. Following the announcement, the Vermont senator raised a record $5.9 million in just 24 hours. In other news, Sanders has started coming after his campaign for being part of the 1% and a greedy capitalist schmuck. Pictures of a sexy Abe Lincoln statue located in LA have been circulating the internet recently. Friends of Abe have been quoted saying he's changed since he moved to LA. Falcon sex hats are real and can help breed birds. Yes, actual falcon breeders wear special hats that encourage falcons to mate with their hat still on the breeder's head in order to collect the male's sperm. As we know from the classic Kellis song, "My Falcon Sex Hat Brings All the Birds to the Yard." Wallace Brocker, the geophysicist who popularized the term global warming, passed away recently. He too decided to just die and let future generations handle it. We're always interested in getting a closer look at student life here at GW, so we wanted to invite a couple from campus to see how they spent Valentine's Day this year. Everybody welcome Tristan and Christoph.
Oh my God.
How are you doing, you guys?
Better than ever.
Great.
That's good to hear. Now, I'm sure you guys get this question a lot, but how did you two meet?
Oh my God, it's such an embarrassing story.
He is so cute, but this is way too embarrassing for me.
Okay. So basically, we were both in line at Starbucks waiting for our drinks.
Oh my God, this part is so funny. Listen.
So the lady yells out, "Sugar-free iced vanilla latte with almond milk extra hot."
That's exactly what she said.
And the both of us, at the exact same time, grabbed the cup.
Oh no, looks like we ordered the same thing.
And it spilled all over our hands, and we got third-degree burns.
It was so painful.
But we both split an Uber to the hospital, and we got to talking, and it turns out we have so much in common.
Yeah, like, we're both vegan and love The Office. Crazy, right?
So after all of our burns were wrapped up, we decided to go get dinner, and the rest is history.
Oh, you're right. That's really super cute.
Isn't it?
Oh my gosh, Jinx.
No jinx to you too, silly.
You guys are really insane.
We get that a lot.
So, I mean, how did you guys spend Valentine's Day this year?
Let me tell this one.
Of course, babe. This is your time. I'm so proud of you.
So we actually like to make Valentine's a week-long event.
So, you like go out for dinner every night, or?
Well, if you stopped interrupting me, I could tell you.
Yeah, who do you think you are?
All right, keep going.
Okay, so we start off by flying to
The
Indianapolis.
city of love.
And we had probably the cutest little Airbnb ever. It was in this tiny room in this guy Kevin's apartment, and he took lots of cute couple pics of us while we were making out on the couch.
Yeah, and he actually forgot to send them to us, but he's printing them out, so I'm sure they'll get to us soon.
So we just spent the whole week, you know, like going to the zoo, walking around Indianapolis, going to the zoo, because there actually isn't that much to do in Indianapolis.
Wait, hold on. So you spent the whole week there?
Of course, and I loved every minute of it with my little Pookie bear.
Who's my little duck-billed platypus?
I am.
Yes, you are.
That's super cute. Could we just get to the end of the story?
What makes you think you could talk to us like that?
Yeah, what? Just because you like host the show, you can ask us like questions and stuff?
If you care so much about couples, Ben, why don't you bring your girlfriend onto the show?
I don't have one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
I said I don't have one.
So you don't know about love because you don't have what we have.
Yeah, it just seems like you're just sad.
Okay, I don't think you can just like come on here and attack me like that.
We can't? Well, then we're leaving. This is beneath us.
We don't need this show, Pookie. We have each other.
Let's go.
Well, sorry about that one, folks. Hopefully that gave you a little insight into the dynamics of true love. I don't know about you, but that made me a little less sad about being alone. So to all of our singles watching, next time you're feeling like being in a relationship, remember, that could be you. Speaking of salty singles, we sent our friend Dion to interview people about their romantic lives. Check this out.
What's up, GW? My name's Dion, and I'm here to answer all the questions you didn't know you needed answers to. Today's topic is Valentine's Day, and I have a very special guest on to help me answer these questions. So, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Dion. How about yourself?
Very well. Now, what's your name?
My name is Andy Weber.
And what do you do here?
I'm the general manager of GWTV, so I oversee the station's operations and work with students in terms of growth and other large-scale projects with the station.
Impressive. Now, Andy, do you have a special someone?
I would say I do. My girlfriend Rachel Hugh and I've been dating her for the last 4 years. I met her at CI, so we're kind of a GW couple. But yeah, I'd say she's definitely a special someone in my life.
That's cute.
Thanks.
Have you heard of that app that tracks how long your relationship is gonna last? I mean,
I've not heard of the app. I've not heard of the app. No.
huh? Okay. It's unreliable anyway. So, now, have you ever been in love?
I'd say I'm definitely in love with my girlfriend Rachel. Yes. So I'm in love. Yeah. Sure.
Good. I hope that lasts. Honestly, I'm serious.
Thank you.
Okay. What's your ideal Valentine's Day gift?
I'd probably say a gift that means something to someone, a gift that means something to both of those in the relationship. So something that shows you care and that shows you love them.
And would getting that gift make you feel special, loved?
I would say so. Yeah, for sure.
Like they would never desert you or betray you?
I guess there's never a guarantee, but that's the hope.
Like they would never come home in the middle of the night with bruises on their neck and not explain why?
Sounds like you have a story to tell.
No, I'm just asking questions, man. Anyway, do you ever think it's okay to lie to your lover? I mean, if ignorance is bliss, then, why should we know the things that would break our heart?
I can't follow that question, but I definitely say lying is never a good option, never a good choice.
Interesting. Do you have any plans for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, we're going to dinner. That's our plans for Valentine's Day. It's just a nice romantic dinner.
Sounds nice. What is your ideal partner? What traits do you look for?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I've been looking for a partner for the last 4 years, so I can't say what really fits the ideal bill. I think Rachel's her own person.
What do you like about Rachel?
That's a fair question. What I like about her, I guess, she's incredibly kind, incredibly patient. She's beautiful. So it's hard to sum it up in one sentence, but things like that.
Is she loyal?
I for sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, loyalty is important, Because, how else are you supposed to know? When the doctor says, the baby isn't yours, that he's lying, this happened to a friend of mine, so I'm, crazy stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for answering these questions today. I just have one last question for you. Do you think it is okay to forgive someone who broke your heart?
I think that's personal. I think it depends what happened, and it depends how you feel about the other one, how you feel about what happened. So I can't give you a definite answer on that one, buddy.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, thank you for your time. You can leave now.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Join us next time on our next segment, How to Get Over Your Ex.
You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, ready?
Let's go.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Wait, do you want me to go or?
I thought I was going.
No,
No, you go. You go.
Sean and Michael want you guys.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Welcome to GW.
I thought I was supposed to
I
start.
thought I was going to go first.
I thought.
Here comes Parker.
Come on, guys. It's not that hard, all right? It's just one line. All right. You guys know the line.
Welcome to GWTV. You can visit us at gw-tv.com.
See, that wasn't so bad.
Every year, as the days get shorter, an epidemic plagues our nation. That's right, it's cuffing season. As we get deeper into the season, please look out for signs that your friend might be getting cuffed. Has your friend suddenly developed an obsession with their phone? When asked what they're doing on their phone, do they get dodgy? Refuse to answer your questions? Does your friend suddenly have an extremely active social life, which makes no sense because before this point you had to beg them to engage in human interaction? Do these plans involve stumbling home in the middle of the night on weekdays when you know they have 9:45s every day? Do you see them hanging out a lot with Austin from their biology lab last semester, who they blamed their bee on, but now suddenly they're all friendly with? If your friend exhibits any of these symptoms, they may be suffering from the effects of cuffing season. Cuffing season is that time of year when seemingly everyone you know suddenly is too busy for you and has found someone to make them momentarily forget the constant solitude of their own minds. Other symptoms include leaving on their makeup into the night just in case someone snaps them, making weirdly hopeful and vague Finsta posts, a sudden disinterest in Tinder, and much, much more. If you or any of your friends have shown any of these symptoms, please remind them to reach out to loved ones, the ones you loved before Austin, remember? And remind them of the dangers of getting cuffed. And Ashley, when Austin dumps you after Valentine's Day, remember this.
Welcome back to District Debrief. We wanted to add something new to this show, a segment where we discuss a topic that we have serious thoughts about, but the topic itself is not too serious. This is not too serious. Today we wanted to focus on conservative interneter and wood nymph Ben Shapiro. If you're unfamiliar with him, Shapiro currently is the editor-in-chief of the right-wing website The Daily Wire and hosts the Ben Shapiro Show, which he boasts is the top conservative podcast. He's also hilariously insecure about his height and frequently claims he's 5'9", which we might believe if it was actually 3 Ben Shapiros stacked in a trench coat. Regardless, his influence is the opposite of his stature, large and growing. He has amassed nearly 2 million Twitter followers. First, we want to talk about his beliefs, and everything he believes is backed by facts and logic, his fans' favorite tagline to establish his credibility. A quick YouTube search of Ben Shapiro facts and logic returned 62 inches of clips posted by fans of Shapiro destroying the left with facts and logic, as you can see by this thumbnail over my shoulder in an Angry Birds font. Keep in mind, there's no argument. When he visited GW last month, he gave a 35-minute speech filleting capitalism to a crowd of white bread dressed in vineyard vines. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Shapiro's event format, it starts with a short tirade taking on the left for threatening him because the left is mean to conservatives, who are the true defenders of America against the left. If I wasn't clear, he says the left more than Owen Wilson says, wow. His speech follows, and then an audience Q&A. He's not for open dialogue, even though he claims he is, since he allows questions. College students rush to the back of the room to form a line to ask the sage a question or attempt to debate him. Spoiler alert, you're never going to win a debate with Shapiro. He's incredibly well-read, and his brain holds more information than Sway's hat holds mysteries. I mean, I think I know it's dreads, but it really could be anything. Anyway, after trying to get in bed with capitalism for over an hour, a socialist asked a question.
Ben Shapiro, thank you for coming to GW. My name is Pranay. I'm a freshman here, and full disclosure, I am a socialist. Setting aside any notions of wealth redistribution, someone already asked about that, what is so immoral about believing that a worker is entitled to the full value of their labor, especially given that such the enterprises organized in such a way have been shown to be more effective than traditionally capitalistically organized businesses?
When you talk about the ownership of the means of production, are you talking about my version, because that's called capitalism, or are you talking about where the government owns the means of production or crams down on voluntary associations' rules as to the means of production?
I'm talking about neither. I reject state socialism personally. What I'm referring to is specifically, for example, the term given is worker cooperatives. The most prominent example, the Mondragon Corporation in Spain. When the company turns a profit, that profit is distributed among the workers, some 80,000 employees. It's a wildly successful corporation.
I mean, is it a voluntary association? Is there any cram down happening?
No, there's not.
Then good, it's capitalist. That's not socialist.
There's a lot to talk about here, and yes, that is a yarmulke on his head. He did sign some yarmulkes in the crowd after his speech, something that I don't think is illegal, but it just feels wrong. It's like if Ted Nugent went on a Bible signing tour. We know that you love the Bible, Ted, but it's just not your lane, or anyone's really. But back to Shapiro. The cooperative discussed is a $12 billion company, entire worker dominated, and to say that since it works it must be capitalist is just plain stupid. It's like if the economy was doing well and you attributed it to the McRib being back. Shapiro also believes racism in America is dead, since we don't have any explicitly racist laws. I mean, we've made progress, but I wouldn't call it dead. It's like if you said you're comfortable letting Harrison Ford fly your plane. Yeah, he hasn't crashed in a few years, but I don't trust it. Shapiro also has a really weird issue with trans people, and there really isn't anything to explain that besides just pure disdain of personal liberty. He intentionally misgenders people, something that breaks my golden rule of don't be a dick. For someone who says the left gets triggered by microaggressions too often, the mere existence of trans people turned Shapiro into Brett Kavanaugh at a Senate hearing. But most of his beliefs are normal, recycled, right-wing talking points. How does he get paid for his ideas to be presented as new? Truthfully, I'm kind of confused on this one. He's not speaking or sharing original ideas. I mean, I think there's 3 levels of dialogue. The highest is speaking, followed by talking, followed by running your damn mouth. And conservative organizations like Young America's Foundation are willing to pay upwards of $40,000 for him to speak on college campuses. The day after Shapiro's visit at GW was January's March for Life. Shapiro decided he'd host a podcast at the march on a big stage in front of an empty band set. Vice President Mike Pence called into the show. It was a pretty big deal. But the 2 people in that last sentence were boring as hell, so here's the fun part. At some point that morning, this happened.
Right. The argument, I guess, here is that would you kill baby Hitler? And the truth is that no pro-life person on earth would kill baby Hitler, right? Because baby Hitler wasn't Hitler. Adult Hitler was Hitler. Baby Hitler was a baby.
To me, this is a perfect argument. Nothing says you have sane ideas quite like invoking Hitler unprompted. Hitler's kind of like Voldemort in that, like, you shouldn't even mention him. If you say his name to prove a point, I'm not going to take you seriously because the only people who reference Hitler are the ones who turn around 5 minutes later and try to detach him from the ideas that they kind of believe. Right after talking about Hitler, he launched into ads because facts and logic can't help you pre-record advertisements. Quip, a toothbrush company, needed to rinse after Shapiro's live ad read and spit him out as a promoter. Calm, a meditation app that Shapiro doesn't use but really should try, also dropped him. Basically, Shapiro will take money from anyone who offers, which is a normal political practice, but he relies on his financial support to make a living. If Thanos snaps and he's gone, somebody else could easily fill that void, which leads us to the final point, legitimacy. Shapiro has an impressive resume, and he's been a published author since his teenage years. He graduated UCLA at age 20, and then near the top of his class from Harvard Law in 2007. But all that is secondary to the fact that he's never really spoken an original word in his life. There's very little that comes out of his mouth that can't be easily accessed by anyone in an audience. 4-year-old Ben Shapiro's ideal superpower was to memorize numbers and spit them back at you quickly. Basically, Ben Shapiro's an auctioneer who reads. He's got a lot of snake oil salesmen to him. When you hear him speak, you believe him because he sounds smart, but the second you leave the conversation, you realize you got your pants pulled down. To be clear, he presents normal right-wing ideas that are socially acceptable most of the time. Then there are times where he'll invoke Hitler or scream about transgender people that really makes you question the intelligence of anyone who thinks he's brilliant. And again, I can't underscore this enough. While he includes a Q&A session at the end of his events, he's not for open conversation, only a zero-sum debate that he always wins because the audience claps after he talks. Whatever side of the aisle you're on, we want to make one thing clear. If your objective is to destroy the other side and not to communicate, you're not doing any good for opening up conversation. And now, some ads that we pre-recorded.
Universities like George Washington play a critical role in hosting debate and discourse on events of the day.
The right answer is not to refuse the other. The right answer is not to say, get rid of this religion. It's not part of us. It's wrong.
I think that the story of America is a story of race. So when I think of the questions that I'm asking or the stories that I'm going to write, I'm thinking, okay, well, what are we learning about our country?
Well, I think the likelihood of him being indicted is close to 100%. There was a lot of hurdles that had to be cleared in order for that to happen.
One of the reasons that Donald Trump is president is because there is such a frustration with the way that Washington functions.
Sympathy is one thing, but empathy is the language of recovery, and it's something that's, without a doubt, instilled into every person that's in recovery.
It's never lead with the positive, it's always lead with the perceived negative.
Well, that is part of the problem. I mean, I actually would agree with you on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. One of the things that we have seen that is most under siege in this country is the notion of civil discourse, and we here at GW, among other things, very much want to stand for that.
This is truly an only at GW moment.
Welcome back to the show. GW has decided to accelerate the renovation of Thurston Hall, a Depression-era residence hall home to over 1,000 freshmen. In unrelated news, Foggy Bottom's asbestos lawyer industry is expected to see a boom in the coming years. A GW alum, Juan Guaido, recently declared himself interim president of Venezuela and is currently engaged in a diplomatic and political battle with longtime dictator Nicolas Maduro for control of the country. Guaido actually went to GW as a C's student. That's right, a C's kid is the last hope for democracy in Venezuela. Raise high. A giant tortoise thought to be extinct for over 100 years has been found in a remote part of the Galapagos Islands, and the world's largest bee has been spotted for the first time in decades. Space Jam 2 just announced its release date, so maybe Shaquille O'Neal's acting career will come back too. This season of The Bachelor has been one of the most intense in recent history. From a quintuple elimination to sending a girl home after meeting the parents, it's been anything but predictable. I'm hedging all my bets on Cassie. Why, you might ask? Let me tell you my 5 tips and tricks on predicting The Bachelor. 1. Listen to the background music. The front runners will have romantic music playing in the back. Every time we see Cassie, she always has romantic background music. 2. The kiss of death. No one who ever warns the Bachelor or Bachelorette about another person ever makes it far. Cassie has been calm and collected. 3. On The Bachelor, don't pay attention to the first impression rose. They usually never get it. Cassie did not get the first impression rose. Hannah G did. Coincidence? I think not. 4. You will always like them throughout the course of the show. Cassie has never been involved in drama and has always been out of the main focus. And 5. Listen to Jimmy Kimmel. He's mostly always right. And he picked Cassie. If The Bachelor can't distract you from your post-Valentine's blues, we've invited someone who really wants to see you cheer up. Let's give a warm welcome to the 6th floor Thurston RA, Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me, Ben. I feel it's my duty as an RA to be there for people in their time of emotional need. And Valentine's Day tends to be the most emotionally challenging day of the year. That's why I haven't had a date in 7 months.
Great, that's great. Well, as you know, last week was Valentine's weekend, and many of our students were without a sweetheart to share the holiday with. What's some advice that you would give to help them cheer up?
Well, I too was without someone to celebrate the most love-filled day of the year with, so I know exactly what they're going through. I just tell them what I tell myself every morning. Charlotte, the next time you think of beautiful things, don't forget to count yourself in.
That's some great advice. You know, you always have to remember that you're, I'm glad that helps you through the weekend, but what about people who are just going through a breakup?
You know, that's a tough one. Valentine's Day can hurt especially bad when you're recently without a companion, with the constant reminders what you could have been doing to celebrate. I can totally understand what you're going through. You matched on Tinder at the start of first semester, went on like 7 dates between your busy schedule of being an RA and majoring in international affairs with a minor in poli-sci. You knit them this really awesome sweater as a Hanukkah gift, and you get back from break only to find out that they're seeing some girl from North Jersey who's a first-year criminal justice major. I get it. We've all been there. I tell them what I tell myself all the time. Charlotte, you deserve someone who wipes away your tears, not someone who causes them.
That was very specific, Charlotte. Did this just happen to you?
Honestly, Ben, you just have to remember that the comeback is always stronger than the setback. And you know what I always say? I say, if you haven't found it yet, just keep looking. You know who said that?
I thought you said...
Steve Jobs,
Okay.
Ben. Steve Jobs said that. And it's so true. If you haven't found them yet, then just keep looking.
Okay, then. I'm sure you must be stuck dealing with some pretty sticky roommate situations. What do you do when a resident comes to you after being sexiled the night before a big exam?
Well, I used to take my master key and just let the resident back in the room while the roommate was still using it. But after getting in trouble a few times, the RD has advised me to let them wait it out and write up a new roommate agreement when everyone's decent.
Yikes, that must have not gone over well. Does that happen a lot?
Honestly, no. I mostly just deal with shower issues and crying girls, but even that doesn't take up as much of my time as I had hoped. Whenever there's a lull, I know there's something happening. You just gotta dig a little harder. When that happens, I put in my AirPods and walk around the hallways, but there's a catch. I don't play any music. I just listen to people's conversations to see if I can catch any crying. There's always someone crying. It's a tough time of year though, because a sniffle can sound like a sob, but I have a very trained ear. I can hear the early stages of a breakdown coming from a mile away.
All right, let's move on. What activities did you plan with your floor to put them in the loving spirit?
Oh my God, I'm so glad that you asked. I actually put together a couple of Valentine's Day parties for my residents. For those who wanted to get in the spirit, I had a card making party with candy hearts, red, white, and pink streamers, and lots of chocolate. But for those who didn't feel like being all lovey-dovey, I had a Lonely Hearts party where people could eat broken sugar cookies and play all of the greatest anti-love hits, from You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' by the Righteous Brothers to Before He Cheats to Gives You Hell. Oh, I almost forgot, I actually made you a card.
Oh. Thank you. I love it.
You love it?
Okay, all right. Thanks for coming, Charlotte. No, I really, really do love it. I guess some of us need a little push to find that special someone for Valentine's Day. Thankfully, a new dating site called Colonial Cupid has been started just for GW students. We have a sneak preview at some of the students' dating videos. Check this out.
So this is kind of awkward, right?
So my love life is practically f***ed all over, so I thought, you know, why the hell not?
Hey guys, my name's Kimberly. I'm so excited for this whole thing.
Hello, my name's David, and if you'd like to date the future governor of Delaware, let me tell you, you've come to the right place.
Anyway, what's up? My name's Angelo, and I'm a brother in Quad Delt. I'm on this website because I'd really like to see where this goes, you know?
My name's Jessie, like the uncle from Full House. I'm a Libra, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna die alone.
I'm an Elliott student, so you know I'm very adventurous. In fact, I studied abroad in Dublin last semester, which was pretty crazy. You know, a huge culture shock. Did you know the drinking age there is 18?
So some stuff about me. I like kombucha, muscle tanks, and repping New York 24/7. I also play for an intramural squash team because I'm all about keeping it fit, you know?
A little bit about myself. I'm really into politics. Like, my aspiration is to be Olivia Pope someday. Did you know she went to this school? It's crazy. Also, I'm a sustainability minor, so like, I'm very into the environment, like Earth, right? It's so cool.
Yeah, I tried for the beer for the first time, and boy, let me tell you, it was kind of gross. I don't really get all the hubbub about it.
I mean warm, because global warming? Of course, of course.
Well, let's see. I'm on Bumble, Hinge, Coffee Meets Bagel, OkCupid, eHarmony.
My boy Ralph Emerson always says the first wealth is health. That's right, your boy's an English major.
Match.com, Plenty of Fish. Oh, Ashley Madison, Gluten-Free Singles, Amish Dating, which was, to be honest, probably the best so far.
This is a reusable straw. I love sea turtles, and every time I buy my warm Canada Goose jacket, I pray for the souls of the 23 geese who sacrificed themselves for
Farmers Only, Equestrian Cupid, and JDate. You know, I'm not even Jewish. I just figured it would probably be the biggest pool to choose from here. That's also why I have Grindr.
One time my mom actually hung up a poem I wrote in the fridge for like 5 years, so one day I'm gonna write a New York Times bestseller.
At least I haven't tried Tinder yet. I'm not that desperate.
I hope that when we meet, we have just like this undeniable connection, like Ashley, I, and Jared from Bachelor in Paradise.
Speaking of my mom, she's my number one. She's a member of the mafia, and she makes a killer lasagna.
You know, most of my days are spent indoors. I don't have social media because you never know what could turn into a scandal these days.
I have it all figured out in my life plan.
If you'd like to meet up, it'll have to be sometime, you know, in like well-lit hours in a very crowded restaurant, and we cannot sit on the same side of the booth.
So, after we get engaged in 2021, we'll be married a year later in Vermont.
In fact, like, I don't even want to touch you at all until like the third date.
We'll compete our show poodle, Stanley, have 4 children also named Stanley, and eventually, through a lot of determination and corruption, we'll end up in the White House.
If this sounds like the perfect date to you, though, please contact me and I'll find a place to pencil you in.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Can't wait. Maybe you and me can hit up Tonic for some happy hour and smash some thoughts. Well, either works.
I think that's it, but you know, hit me up if you want to go grab some margs sometime. I'll bring my reusable straw.
If you need a beard, a drug dealer, or even a green card, you know where to reach me.
That's all we got for you today, but you can always check out what we're doing between episodes on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or check our website out at gw-tv.com. Sorry to Viggo Mortensen, he's waiting in the green room, but we ran out of time. We'll see you guys next time.